illustrious Crystal Wright, who has been one of the greatest panelists we've ever had at the Photography Workshop series of the last 6 years. Crystal has been a panelist on probably, I don't know, how many workshops? Multiple workshops.
Multiple workshops, yeah.
Mostly in Los Angeles. And she is now speaking to us from Texas. Crystal was a major photography, hair, makeup, and wardrobe styling agent in Los Angeles for, 15, 20 years. And now she actually educates stylists and photographers about the industry. So Crystal, welcome. We were just talking about building an estimate. We were talking about bidding on an advertising campaign. I actually met with a client yesterday, and I'm bidding on the campaign. These guys have some questions for you in regards to usage rights.
I've seen photographers make the usage fees a percentage of their creative fee. So I've never known like
Exactly. A formula for doing it?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, here's the thing. There's not really a formula for doing it because you're in a business where you get whatever the market will bear and you get whatever the nerve you have to ask for it. So in other words, a young photographer who has an opportunity to shoot a big campaign may not have the confidence to ask for what the client is willing to pay them. A bigger photographer who's been doing it longer and has more self-confidence will ask for that number and maybe even more. What a makeup, hair, fashion stylist, or manicurist charges for a job, the only difference is that they don't get usage rights. But they charge the same way. A young, talented makeup artist, when a client calls them and asks them about a fee, they might say $800, where they could really get $1,500 or $2,000, but they just haven't gotten the courage yet to get there. So now when you're talking about photographers' fees, it's the same thing. Whereas one of you guys might get offered a job that's very similar to something Kevin would get offered at a point. But Kevin, with his confidence and knowing what he can do, not only will he ask for more money, but he has the confidence to be nervy and ballsy about it. So when I represented photographers, one of the photographers that I represented was David Roth. And later on, you can go and see his site. It's david-roth.com. David shoots now for Nordstrom and, different companies like that. When we first started out, the very first job I ever got him, I got him $2,500. Now that $2,500 fee to shoot an album cover when you've never actually done one before and all you have in your book are tests and one editorial from LA Times Magazine, it's like you got to be ballsy to say, well, I don't care, $2,500. And this was in like 1990. And we went from $2,500. I didn't even stop at $3,500 or $4,000. I went straight from $2,500 to $5,000 because I always feel like you can always say no. And then we can start negotiating from there. But what if I ask for $5,000 and you say yes? Don't forget my commission is in there too. I'm getting 25%. So the more I get you, the more I get myself. When we would do a gig, if it was, let's say it was $5,000 and there was going to be additional usage, I used to put the additional usage at that time at $1,500 per usage. So if we're shooting the album cover and then you want to use those pictures for a poster, I'm going to get another $1,500 for him for that poster. And then if you want to use it for something else, I'm going to get another $1,500 and then another $1,500. I remember walking into Capitol Records and looking, and we had done an album cover for BB and CC Winans. And there were posters and, point of sale, point of purchase things, all kinds of stuff all over. And I said, oh my God, I'm so excited. You guys love these pictures. I need to send you another invoice. For what? I said, well, for the additional usage. Oh, we don't have to pay for that. I said, no, you should read the contract. You definitely have to pay for it. So I was able to invoice them for another $4,500 for additional usage. I negotiated something for a photographer that had shot a bunch of cat pictures. And how I came to negotiate it, I wasn't even representing photographers anymore. But the woman that represented this photographer who did television commercials called me and said, Crystal, can you negotiate the usage rights on these cat photos that had been sitting in a drawer for 3 years? I called around because I hadn't done it in such a long time to a couple of other reps in LA that I knew to ask them. And the words out of their mouth were, oh, you're never going to get that. See, I don't believe in that. Oh, nobody's going to pay you that. And see, that means that the other reps in the same scenario would have left their photographer's money on the table. I got that photographer $21,000 for the pictures that were sitting in a drawer for them to be able to use those pictures for a year in North America. For whatever they wanted. Who cares? They've been sitting in a drawer. You can use them. And then the next year, I think they came back and used them again. I said to them, what do you want to use the pictures for? They gave me a list of things they wanted to use the pictures for. And I came up with this $21,000. And when I presented to the other reps, oh, you're never going to get that. Maybe you'll get $5-6 grand. This is why I'm doing this summit, this business development summit in April in New York. And I'm doing a class called, I Think I Need an Agent. And then I'm doing a class called Managing the Agent You Already Have. If you don't stay in touch with your agent and you don't challenge them sometimes on the things that they're doing and the way that they're doing it, you're assuming that you have somebody on your side that is a good negotiator. That is not necessarily true. Some of them are just order takers. Don't get it twisted. Some of them answer the phone. That's what they do. And they don't have the courage to push the envelope with the client because they're afraid the client is going to say no. So that's your job. You don't just hand everything over to the rep and go home and twiddle your thumbs waiting for your $5,000, $10,000 booking. Part of what you have to do as an artist is that you've got to set up time with your rep to sit down with them and see where we're going. But you have to have the plan for where you're going. Every year I would sit down with my artists. I would give them a sheet, a goal sheet, and say it would have editorial, advertising, celebrity, blah, blah, blah on it. And I say, I want you to fill in 5 jobs in each one of those categories that you want. Because I felt like as my job as a rep was not only to just be about the business of getting them work, but if I wasn't looking at the list of things that they also wanted, and I wasn't about the business of trying to get them some of the accounts that they wanted, at the end of the year, when they sat down to assess whether or not I was doing a good job, it wouldn't just be based on the money that I had gotten them, but it would also be based on whether or not I had done my best to get them into the doors that they felt were going to propel their careers forward. You could want to do celebrities and I could get you a bunch of catalog jobs every year and you made a ton of money, but you're not satisfied. So that means either I'm the wrong agent or you're with the wrong agency that doesn't even get that kind of work, or you don't have the right things in your book to get that kind of work. And even if that's the case, it's my job to tell you that and to help direct you so that you go out and put the kinds of things in your book that are going to get you the kind of work that you want.